This is the morning edition of the Weather Extreme video. This is for Monday, the 19th of March. Amazingly warm here in the east, amazingly cold in the west and snowy, and some severe weather in between today. Let's take a look with some of the Skycam shots around the network. Early this morning at the insane hour of 5 o'clock, that's the downtown Birmingham look coming from the Daniel Building looking south. Here's our Walker County Skycam in Jasper from the King Building. And up in Decatur, that's the Tennessee River, as seen from the Skycam in Morgan County. Ooh, what a high-amplitude look. Cold, deep trough over the west, warm ridge over the east. And in between, we got some storms early this morning. That's the radar coming out of Frederick, Oklahoma at 5:08. Severe thunderstorm watch boxes in effect out there. We had a few tornado issues last night, and later today there could be a pretty significant risk, as you'll see in just a moment, for areas just east of there. Those are highs yesterday. Pretty amazing. At one point yesterday, while Birmingham was in the mid-80s, Phoenix, Arizona was struggling to get out of the 40s. Goodness. But this pattern is not a fast-moving one. It's not really progressive, and we're going to stay warm for a while. There's our watch warning map. The thing lit up like a Christmas tree. Some really big flooding problems are easily possible, in fact, likely, from Texas up into the eastern part of Oklahoma, western Arkansas, Missouri, where flash flood watches are up. And out west, we've still got winter storm warnings all the way from the Mexican border to Montana, where they're just being buried in snow out there and cold. And they're saying, what's the deal with the warmth you're talking about? We're out here freezing to death. And in between, we got severe weather issues. There's the moderate risk for Texas. That includes Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, Austin, parts of the Hill Country. Surrounding that, a standard slight risk up into Iowa. And wow, look at those 45% probabilities. That is the chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given point. That's about a 50-50 chance. And again, Dallas, Fort Worth, right in the middle of that later today. So we'll be watching that with great interest. Tomorrow, the standard slight risk is up for East Texas and parts of Louisiana and Arkansas. And then by day 3 on Wednesday, no formal risk, just the 5% probabilities over Louisiana. And boy, look at the rain numbers for the next 5 days. Valid through Friday evening at 7 o'clock, 8.8 inches near Tulsa, 7.3 down around Port Arthur and Beaumont, Texas. And around Alabama, just not much. I mean, this upper trough is kind of like hitting a brick wall with the ridge. Let's take a look. This is the OZGFS at 1 o'clock this afternoon. There's the high amplitude look with a trough in the west, and down below that looks like a 984 millibar low up there over Montana. That could set up a blizzard up there. It's still cold and snowy in the west. We got the 540 line down into Mexico. Warm in the east, and in advance of that, you can see the storms over Texas and Oklahoma. And again, we'll be in the mid-80s today. GFS shows 86. That sounds about right. That was the high yesterday. Tomorrow, it just doesn't change. The storms just creep eastward. And that's why flooding issues are a big concern over eastern Texas and east Oklahoma. But around here, partly sunny with mid-80s again tomorrow. We'll stay dry. Wednesday, the whole thing is just not wanting to move much. You can see the west is warming up, but the rain just not moving as the upper low just sits there. We stay dry with mid-80s. I mean, the weather will not change really for the next 3 days. Thursday, same deal. We're dry, showers west of here. We stay up in the mid-80s. Friday, there's the upper low. It's kind of drifting around north of Wichita, near Kansas City, and down below that, it's the same deal. We're still dry. At one point, it looked like we might have a better chance of rain in here Thursday and Friday, but not really. I guess you might mention a slight chance Friday. And even here, we stay in the low to mid-80s. What about the weekend, you ask? Well, the upper low is weakening and lifting north of us, and even that looks pretty dry. We might mention widely scattered showers, but just no big deal. Highs at 80 or maybe in the low 80s. And then Sunday, finally, the moisture axis kind of drifts over us. The upper high weakens ever so slightly, but still low 80s, a few widely scattered showers, nothing widespread. So just the warmth and the dry pattern generally holds. And Monday of next week, look at that. The ridge is still intact over the east. Had a pretty nasty looking trough out over the Rockies, but that will not affect us. So warm stays the word for the next 7 days at least. Let's check the end of the forecast. April 3rd, negative tilt trough, the axis north of here. That would be a severe weather look for parts of the Ohio Valley, maybe down into the Tennessee Valley, and a big blizzard if this is right over parts of the upper Midwest. But again, we're just out here peaking in the land of voodoo. No sign of any late season cold snap on these last runs we've seen basically all week long. But an April cold snap is almost a given. Frost, freeze, it just wants to happen every year. That's it for the Weather Extreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And don't forget to catch us on TV this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
The first thing you've got to understand, you cannot rely on an outdoor siren. You cannot hear those inside a home, a building, a church. It won't work. You've got to get something inside your house. That's a weather radio or maybe a smartphone app. We work with a company that's developed a wonderful weather radio app for Android phones and iPhones. It knows where you are, and if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you get the warning. And if you're not, you don't. It's an effective device, and it's a great way to be sure you get the warning.